Welcome back, survivors, to year 3 of our cynically awesome Kingdom Death Monster Dream Keepers campaign. Last year we experienced our first death, but as things would have it, I didn't actually lose 2 survivors, I only lost 1. So Randy has come back from the dead. With that being the case, that means that Randy would have gained a hunt experience, and so he too would get a philosophy. We're going to find out which one he gets, and it's survivalism. We've already seen survivalism, but I'll run through it real quick. He'll get the selfish neurosis, the tenacity tenets, and we'll see what else he gets, according to the booklet. You are alone. All that matters is your survival. Adapt to survive. Gain +1 Lumi and roll 1d10. We'll get a 1. You fixate on one lantern, flinging stones at it until you can knock it down. When the time comes, you will get only 1 shot, so you must make it count. Gain the knowledge accuracy training. Now this one's new. Accuracy training 1 is only a theory, and will get observation for successfully hitting the monster. That's actually not bad. Perhaps we can turn this into something more. So, I've already picked out my survivors. I've got Randy in the brown, Sandy in the red. She's carrying our dagger, our crimson dress, our crimson slippers, and our crocodile eyes. Sarah in the blue, she's got our rawhide vest and our guitar. Jeff, the blonde, who's got a founding stone and a bloody cloth. And Jose, our returning scout with the founding stone. Randy also has a bloody cloth and a founding stone. All of our departing survivors here will gain 4 survival and 3 insanity. Everyone has a bloody cloth, which gives them 1 more insanity, and Randy happens to have hunger too, which gives them an extra survival. Everyone has hit their limit of 5 survival, except for Jeff, who actually is only at 4. We're fighting a level 1 crocodile because I don't think we're ready for the smog singers just yet, and we're really equipped for this fight this time around, so let's get it done. First we have a random hunt event. 45. Jagged Valley. A valley of sharp white stones opens before the survivors, looking just like a toothy maw. As the survivors push and climb the jagged spires, they find that even the shallowest nick bleeds profusely. Each survivor suffers 1 event damage to the body. Unless the survivor has bandages to patch up the wounds, all survivors also gain 2 bleeding tokens. That's not good. That's nearly halfway to death. If any survivor has a pickaxe, they may try to convince the others to let them investigate a bit more. If they're convinced, roll 1d10. No. Unfortunately, our survivors are not very well armored, with only 2 of them actually having chest armor. And Sandy actually happens to get the clothed and satiated bonus because she's wearing 3 pieces of armor and doesn't qualify for any other armor bonuses. So she's in a better spot, but I'm worried about everyone else. I want everyone to survive. Next we have Lady in the Blood Lake. A woman rises from a lake of blood. She makes an offer. In exchange for her eye, she will tell a story. The group may nominate a survivor to suffer the blind severe head injury. If they do, the woman deftly plucks the eye out of its socket. Punctuated by the crunch of gristle, she mumbles the tale of a brave people who defeated a story eater. As the survivors listen, their blood pressure accelerates. Survivors with any bleed tokens gain +1 accuracy token and another bleed token. If the event revealer is not deaf, they may spend 1 survival to memorize the story. If they do, gain the Inner Lantern Innovation. That would be amazing if I didn't already have the Inner Lantern Innovation. And the blind severe injury is -1 permanent accuracy. And she'd get another bleeding token. Granted, everyone would get an extra accuracy token, so I almost feel like it might be worth it. So let's gamble with it. This isn't Kingdom Death Monster unless you have some high risk, high reward. Sarah is on the verge of death with 4 bleeding tokens. 2 from the previous event, 1 from suffering blind, and then another 1 for getting the accuracy token. Let's hope it was worth it. Jeff rolls a random hunt event. That was cocked. 37. The survivors are hopelessly lost in the unbroken darkness, with the survivors 2 spaces back on the hunt board, which means we would be back here. When events are resolved, they go away. And when a survivor moves onto a space that has no card, we resolve a random hunt event. So this is not great. Faceless statue. The survivors come upon a faceless statue holding a shining lantern. Basking in the warm light, the survivors are renewed. Each survivor gains +1 survival. Okay, that only matters for Jeff. If the settlement has sculpture, no. The survivors deeply appreciate the artist's subtle craftsmanship, blah blah blah. The next survivor also rolls a random hunt event. "40. The event revealer dreams of the upcoming hunt. They stand before the great beast, weapons ready, but it strikes them down. If the event revealer has 3+ courage, no. Or if any survivor is a savior, no. The event revealer is emboldened by the dream. Otherwise, the dream is merely rattling. Suffer 1 brain event damage. If any survivor has the Twilight Sword, no. They dream of slaughter, no. Do not do the next thing." Okay, it could have gone better, but we have found our quarry. It's time to set up the showdown. And so, here we are. The fight begins, starting with the monster. Now we have Haunting Bite, the survivor that last suffered damage. I mean, now I'm really confused. Does event damage count? Does hunt damage count? I'm going to use the rule of death here and say that I'm going to pick the interpretation that is worse for me. So in that case, that will be going after someone who did suffer damage in the hunt phase, which is Sandy, who just so happens to be our monster controller. But somebody out there tell me, if pick target, survivor that last suffered damage, how does that actually work? I'm simply going with this interpretation for this session. So the Crimson Crocodile will target Sandy, give her back an insanity, move in, and intimidate the target. If adjacent, the monster's jaundiced eyes lock onto yours, its breathing quickening to match your own. Sinew groans as the monster's jaws stretch impossibly wide and then snap shut in an instant. The pressure of displaced air rushes at you. You are knocked down and suffer 1 brain damage. Down to 4. And now we jump you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We could have someone try to encourage her back up, and then she could start swinging. But I'll leave her there for now. What I will do is have 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's move her here for 5. Just so that we have some space in case... Oh wait, no. It's actually better for her to be this way, so that these characters can definitely get in. With the guitar, her accuracy is 6. Thanks to the token, it becomes 5. Thanks to the blind side, it becomes 4. It's going to be one of those games, isn't it? But have no fear. I will surge. Thanks to Inner Lantern, we have the option to spend a survival and gain an action point, which I'll use to strike again. 4s. This time, I get 2 hits. Fleshy Body and Pale Fin. Now my strength with the guitar is 4 plus my innate 1. 5 looking to match 9s is 4s. So let's go ahead and pick the Fleshy Body, 4s. Got it. Let's not forget to do the wounds. 4s on the Pale Fin. A 9 is a wound, but will trigger a reflex. The monster flips upside down, glides on its wriggling fingers, moving 2 spaces forward. 1, 2. meaning this will go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. She goes flying, then cranes its neck to wink at the attacker. Oh wait, craning doesn't actually turn you around. He's just kind of spinning his neck backwards and just looking at me. They suffer 2 brain damage. That's okay. While we're here, let's have the scout pick up the survivor corpse. On a 7, they gain 3 insanity and the skull basic resource. We archive the terrain. When we gain the skull resource, a survivor of our choice gains 1 insanity. So let's go ahead and give that to Sarah. She's running low. And then we'll have the scout go 1, 2, 3 away from the field of battle. And you'll fist pump and stand Sandy back up. Now Sarah wounded the Crimson Crocodile, so we get another tally on our strength training. And not only that, we can spend our survival token to bring our survival back up to 5, which will level up our tenacity knowledge to level 2. This all happens immediately. Tenacity 2 will give us 2 survival tokens when we depart, and we can spend them to gain 1 survival. Using these tokens will give us 1 observation, and we need to do this 6 times to level it up again. But even if she dies, Tenacity 2 is now in our knowledge deck, so future survivors can gain it later and start on Tenacity 2. So that's very cool. And I'm also realizing the accuracy token is great because it's actually just negating my blindness, and my accuracy was actually 5 for those attacks. But luckily, I hit with both of them. We're good. Alright, next up, let's have Jeff go 1, 2, 3, 4. Founding Stone. 7s becomes 6s, becomes 5s. That's 2 hits. Blushing Body and 99 Finger Spine. Now the spine is impervious, so I can't wound it, but I can still try to get this crit. Didn't get it. That's okay. The Blushing Body can be wounded, but it is super dense, which doesn't matter, the Founding Stone isn't frail. So Jeff, with his Founding Stone strength of 1, innate strength of 1, we're looking for 5s. 50-50. Yeah, no, 1's not it. And unfortunately, a reflex occurs. The monster rolls. Without turning, full move the monster to the right. On collision, survivors suffer 2 damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now that's super far. And I'm regretting not going in with Sandy. But we can only deal with what we have now. And Randy will be here, hitting with his Founding Stone. 7 becomes 6, becomes 5. 2 more hits. So let's try the stubby knee. Looking for 5s. A crit, which again doesn't matter. I'm always getting crits on locations without critical wounds. But it is a wound. And it will cause a coagulated hit location to come in. And then the next one also wounds. 1 more out. And 1 more coagulated hit location in. Now, unfortunately, Sandy can't do anything except try and get closer. I don't want her to potentially take a bad hit going in. That's it. That's the round. The 21,000 Newton bite. He's looking for the threat with the most tokens in range. Randy's not a threat because he's in the blind spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You do have a movement of 6, so it's just going against Jeff here. Now I have the option of going forward and turning or left and turning. I think that's the best spot for me to be in, considering the coagulated hit locations. So we've got 2 attacks hitting on 3s, and everyone has an innate evasion, thanks to survival of the fittest. So we're looking for 4 ups. That's a miss. And I can dodge that hit right there. No damage suffered. Survivors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We get our revenge. Sandy with the blood glass dagger. 6s becomes 5s, and that's it. That's 1 hit. Sparkling eyelid. Now there's no extra strength bonuses for this, but I have Hone 3, makes it 3, innate strength of 1, that's 4, and Crocodile Eyes gives me another strength because I cannot see a revealed AI or hit location. So I'm wounding on 2s. That's a wound. But I'm not done yet. We will surge. Let's try that again. 5s. This is a problem. I really wanted to get that hit location out of there. And now I fear that I have bone dust. So here's what's going to happen. Scout, 1, 2, 3. We're moving towards the bug patch. Unfortunately, I cannot get Sandy out of the way. So what's going to happen here is we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it doesn't matter, does it? Have him attack. We're trying to get the coagulated hit location out of the way now, since I can't hit it and wound it. Attempting to wound it when you're not in the right spot is an automatic failure. So 7s, 6s. I do get the hit. The location is revealed, but I will fail. Regardless. Even though I get all the strength and blah 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 blah. I fail, and the monster hisses. Fingers drumming rapidly. Perform the basic action targeting the attacker. I can't dodge this because this is still kind of in the middle of my attack here. Basic action is 2 dice hitting on 3s. Evasion still works. That's actually 1 miss, but 1 hit to my head, which is 2 damage. Luckily, I did put the bloody cloth on my head, so I just suffer a heavy injury and am knocked down. All my bloody cloths are attached to my head because the head location doesn't have light injury, it goes straight to heavy. Don't want that. Now with that coagulated hit location out of the way, I can try to actually do some damage here. Katara on 6s. That's 1 hit. Looking for 2s. And a crit. The crit is a wound. The critical wound location says your weapon grinds against the stones on the monster's back, restoring it. Gain 1 strength token and regain any of that weapon's lost honed benefits. Which, by the order of events, I'm not quite sure, but you see the Qatar is honed, meaning if it wounds a super dense or parry location, it loses all of its strength. So that happens as soon as I wound it. But then the critical says it regains its honed. So I'm interpreting that's happening one after the other. Wounds, breaks the honed. Critical wound location says regain honed. And +1 strength. So I'll take it. And you know what? I'll surge. 6s. 1 hit. Now my strength is 4, 5, 6. Still on 2s. Another crit. The crits Also, cancel out the reactions. So normally the reaction would have had me go left with the monster. Cancel that. This one has a reflex. Cancel that. Wound, let's not forget that. I probably forgot one with the previous location. This one says, you rupture a poison brewing gland within the monster's tail. It gains a -1 toughness token as poison spreads throughout its body. Gain 1 random monster resource. That looks like random to me. Pale flesh. And it's a persistent injury in case that matters. But -1 toughness is pretty good for the rest of us here who have weak weapons. Now, Randy, you can go in. 7s become 6s, becomes 5s, thanks for the blind. And you miss. Surge. You miss again. Let's throw these dice away. None of that. Jose, our survival monkey, will fist bump Jeff back up. And then Jeff will surge and attempt to hit 7s, 6s, double 6. Now let's see here. The blushing twisted back is pretty bad if we fail, but it's not as bad as canceling out my entire attack. So with the founding stone and my innate strength, that's 2 in my favor. And now I'm only looking to match 6 instead of 7. So I'm looking for 4s. That's a wound, which is a coagulated hit location. And now the wrinkled gums. That's a failure. The monster's lower jaw drops open, its long tongue undulating hypnotically. Turn the monster to face the attacker and move 3 spaces back. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The attacker suffers the flee brain trauma. If they are mortal, they suffer frenzy instead. So when you flee, you're knocked down and suffer knockback equal to your movement towards the closest board edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is equal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Knockback and knock down. And you would gain 1d5 insanity, but the Crimson Crocodile says don't gain insanity via brain trauma. Instead, take 1 damage to your head. Oh no. That's a severe head injury. Your brain is going to explode if I roll poorly here. A 2. That's probably death. But have no fear. Once per lifetime reroll. We take this and we reroll. Do not die on me, Jeff. I named you funny for a reason. 6. You are deaf. You won't hear it coming. -1 permanent evasion. This injury is permanent and can be recorded once. Gain a bleeding token. Alright, deaf but not dead. We take it. It is the monster's turn. The survivor that last suffered damage. Guess who that was? Jeff. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But not adjacent to the target. So, that's okay. You get back up. You get back up. Because you get up after the next monster turn ends. That's now. So here we are. Sarah, you, 1, 2, 3, looking to hit on 6 becomes 5, becomes 4, becomes 5. That's 2 hits. Oh, wait a minute. You're in a bad spot. No one can get there. So I'm just looking to get rid of that coagulated hit location. But I don't have to do it just yet. I can do this one first if I really want to. This would just be an automatic failure. I'm kind of okay with that. 4 becomes 5, becomes 6, becomes 2 ups. That's a wound. This is automatic failure. Perform basic action targeting attacker. This attack gets +1 damage. That's no good. 2 attacks hitting on 3s, and I can't dodge. That's a miss. And actually it's hitting on 4s because innate evasion. Thank you. That's awesome. Jeff, kill him. 2 attacks, 6, 5, 7 becomes 6, becomes 5. 2 hits. Trapped. Damn it. All survivors are doomed. The monster's many fingers gesture in a hypnotic wave. The attacker gains the terrified survivor status card. The monster accelerates your heart rate. Gain the death count survivor status. If you already have it, place another token on it. The monster giggles. Full move away from all survivors, then turn to face the attacker. I mean, really, how does the monster move when it's kind of surrounded like this? Full move away, I guess, would be more like 1, 2, 3. Wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5, 6. Then turn to face the attacker. This puts us in a bad spot. Now, Jeff can spend a survival to get rid of Terrified because he has plenty of insanity. He's got 9 insanity. So I don't want him instantly dying to a basic action, like a certain somebody. We don't have much we're able to do, but here's what I want to do. 1, Scout. 2, Bug Patch. Gain 1 random vermin resource. Archive the card. Okay. See if that matters. I wonder if that will ever matter. We find ourselves a hissing cockroach. Consume. Archive this to lose all survival and gain 2d10 insanity. If you are insane, you must consume this. Guess what you are, Jose? Insane. A bunch. That's 19 insanity. And you lose all of your survival. 19 plus 7 is 26. You are never coming down from this insanity. That sucked. Why did I think that was a good idea? But you know what we'll do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're doing it. Throw the Founding Stone. This hit location is automatically critted. Pale Underflesh. Gain a random monster resource. Pale Flesh. Makes sense. If the attacker is adjacent, no. They may plunge their hands, opening into the flesh and drag out viscera. If the attacker takes the plunge, they do all this cool stuff. Unfortunately, I'm not cool and can't do that. I just do the wound. I kind of don't want to throw another Founding Stone. So I'm going to gamble and hope that you don't die. Because there's no more wounds. Unless I'm bad at keeping track again. The Crimson Crocodile will go after Jeff. 2 attacks, hitting on 3s. 1 miss, 1 dodge, nothing. To me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6s. 2 perfect hits. And we're looking for like 2s. A wound, you're dead. And a wound again, you're super dead. Which will set me to level up strength training, in addition to killing the monster. Strength training 2 gives us +1 strength and +1 systemic pressure. And this just goes into our public knowledge, so other survivors can learn this later as well. That's not bad. But the real reward here is everyone gets 1 hunt experience, and we get our rewards. Veined Glass, Crimson Bone, Eye of the Immortal, Pale Fingers, Bloodstool. Basic resources: Monster Hide, Love Juice, Monster Hide. Okay. Sure. Let's go to the settlement and see what's happening. Alright, first things first, we get a random settlement event. We get the Dark Dentist. A cloaked woman enters the settlement. All that can be seen beneath her hood is a sparkle of perfect teeth. She offers to improve the survivors if they are brave enough. We can give her resources and get some garbage upgrades. So we're just going to ignore it because 1, not giving you my resources. 2, these upgrades are trash and I still have the potential to die while doing so or sustain severe injuries. So ignoring that and moving on, we have a story event. Missing statue. Resplendent statues contemplate the settlement from a distance. A space in the colonnade is conspicuously empty. Bone Eaters hunt the survivors. Replace a random basic hunt event with the Bone Eaters encounter level 1 in the hunt event deck. When the card is revealed during the hunt phase, a dangerous encounter with the Bone Eaters will commence. Nominate a pair of survivors. They wander the darkness in grief, searching for purpose. They are drawn towards glinting, shapely figures in the distance. They approach a lonely arcade of statues. The couple laces their clammy fingers together and presses on to examine. So we'll nominate a random pair of survivors, as in 2 of them who don't have names. A man and a woman. Then we'll roll. A 10. The survivors peek into the open space with locked hands, trembling, white teeth, and sclera beam through the darkness, then melt back into the void. Both survivors gain +1 courage. The resolute survivors return home and warn everyone of the new threat. Gain the partnership innovation. Alright, I mean, free innovations are free innovations. The partnership innovation just allows us to potentially make survivors partners, and when they do, they get bonuses when they both arrive together. But if one of them dies, the other one gets a disorder and obviously loses their partner ability. It's not great, but it's free, so I guess that's something. With all of that done, we'll spend an endeavor to innovate. 1 skull, 1 hide, this stool organ, which has no better use for me. And that lets us draw 4 new innovations. And pick 1. Storytelling, ammonia, paint, and shrine. I think paint is the obvious one there. It gives us dash, which will give us the ability to basically move a second time. After that, we'll get a guaranteed baby thanks to Love Juice. And we'll pick those same 2 survivors who found the missing statues. This is important because we have survival of the fittest, which means that when we roll for babies, we roll 2 dice and pick the worst. Not only that, I'm going to track who is doing the rolling. So the male character will roll on the left, and the female will roll on the right. Now you see the female rolled a 1, which means they'll probably be dead. But I can use her once per lifetime roll and re-roll that result. And now we have a 4. A newborn is brought kicking and screaming into the world. Gain +1 population. So now we have a new baby. But not only that. That puts our population to 15, meaning we get a new milestone in the form of a principle, society. There once was a mad woman who spent her days talking to the darkness. One day, it spoke back. The group must choose one. Accept the darkness or collective toll. We're going to accept the darkness. The darkness spoke startling truths. It told the people they were monsters, just like the ones they hunted. The people accepted their monstrosity and their place stalking in the darkness. The settlement gains the society principle, accept darkness. Find and place the card on the settlement board, note it on the settlement record sheet. After adding the card, roll 1d10. 6. Nominate a female survivor. The survivor is heralded as the settlement's leader. Gain the quixotic disorder. It cannot be removed for any reason. In addition, gain the leader and orator of death fighting arts. We don't gain those. We instead do the voteless story event. But who shall our leader be? Not the female that no longer has a lifetime reroll. Let's pick another nameless person. We'll call her Nami. Then, instead of gaining the fighting arts, we do voteless. As you walk the winding, high-walled thought path, you feel the border approaching. Exploring the maze or press through the barrier. Blah, blah, blah. Explore the maze. Roll. We get a 10 for one of them, and then we roll the other one. We get a 3. So the 10, you follow the generative urge, but it leads you back to the center. Before you, the gleaming golden heart beats and bleeds the black ichor of inspiration. You drink from a vein. Gain +2 Lumi. If we have 30 plus collective cognition, no thank you. The second one. You scramble up heaps of experience and impressions. The fighting art forms your final foothold. It crumbles as you ascend to higher clarity. Gain +1 Lumi. So, Nami has 3 Lumi starting off as a nobody. So when that becomes a more fleshed out mechanic, it'll be pretty interesting. What's more interesting is that we have 3 survivors here who have reached hunt milestones. Sarah will reach rank 2 in survivalism. Trust fear. Survivors and their tools are feeble. No one and nothing can protect you. So you give in to fear. It electrifies your exhausted body. Gain +1 Lumi and roll 1d10. 7. You practice keeping your eyes open while they are closed. Gain the knowledge death sense. That sounds pretty good. Now, this is just a theory. But when we dodge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times, we'll learn more. So until then, that's all we get. Then we have our other 2, Sandy and Jose. Sandy gets facism. Jose gets dreamism. Facism's neurosis is fixated. You can attack the monster only from its facing or when it's knocked down. His tenet is physiognomy. Physiognomy says you place an additional terrain during the showdown. When you activate terrain, get an observation. Do that 5 times, you'll level it up. That's not the greatest thing in the world, but I guess. Facism. Fitting in. Nameless survivors kiss the souls of your every step, but where did they all come from? How does your own face fit among the endless tableau of blind eyes and breathless mouths? Your eyes rattle in your head as you try to meet the gaze of every face. Gain +1 Lumi and roll 1d10. 6. The faces of your fellow survivors are hauled with dread, but the faces that meet your downturned gaze are serene. You fix your own face, smoothing the lines of hardship into a stony mask of tranquility. Gain the stone heart knowledge. This too is just a theory, but when I suffer a severe injury, we'll find out more. Dreamism. Your tenant is sleepless. You cannot sleep soundly unless you are at the feet of the Dreamkeeper. You cannot gain survival during the hunt or showdown. Your tenant is guardian. Dreamism. Massive figure. The measured, lulling sound of dreamers pervades the settlement. Despite it, you cannot sleep. Their snores break like waves on your mind, crashing into your thoughts and dragging you inexorably into the orbit of the mysterious figure, kneeling at the center of the settlement. Your sleep-deprived body crumbles in the pooling fabric at its feet. Gain +1 Lumi and roll 1d10. 1. Now that's not good. I want something better than that. But do I really want to use your once per lifetime just to get it done? No. The Dreamkeeper's twin jaws shift almost imperceptibly, grinding its massive teeth. Although the sound disappears in the noise overhead, the vibration passes through the ground, setting your teeth on edge. Suffer -1 luck. Well, that's not much. But let me figure out what I'm going to do with the rest of this. Also, Eye of the Immortal, Phobophobia, give it to Jeff. Moving on. I'll see you after I figure out what to do with these resources. Alright, with all of our resources, it was a hard decision to make. I really want more weapons to spread out amongst my survivors, but also I have good opportunities to make good armor. Gotta balance the two. So here's what I went with. I'm making another blood glass guitar with the vein glass and pale fingers. I'm not going to give it to the survivor who already has one. I'll spread them amongst my survivors, and then when I get that survivor a new weapon, we'll have one survivor with 2 guitars, and they're paired weapons. They combine. It'll be awesome. Just you wait. Then this Crimson Bone and the Whistle Tooth that I have in my storage will go towards this Crockbone Hammer. Then we've got Eye of Immortal, Pale Flesh, Crimson Folds. This will go towards the survivor who's already building up a set with that. Then these 2 hides, Rawhide Headband, Rawhide Gloves. This will go to our Rawhide survivor, and it'll get them an extra evasion thanks to the way that the connections work on the armor. An endeavor for another Hollow Stone, we're building that up. Pale Flesh is going towards nothing, and then 3 endeavors can build stone noses, 1 each. These allow whoever's carrying them to gain 1 insanity and 1 survival upon arriving to the showdown. So it can be pretty handy. So now we're spreading out weapons. We just need to build more armor now. But I think we're getting to a pretty good position. Unfortunately, this means that we're probably going to have to fight another Crimson Crocodile. But we'll see it as an opportunity to... level up our knowledges and get some needed gear. Because at the end of next year, we're going to be facing a health check. That means we're fighting a nemesis, the Butcher. So join me next year. Unfortunately, the Butcher will probably have his own video. Next year will be year 4, but the Butcher will probably be year 4.5, unless we completely demolish the Crimson Crocodile, in which case the Butcher can then join that video. So, make sure you subscribe to the channel for when those videos come out. And as usual, if you spot anything I haven't seen in post-edit, please let me know in the comments below, as you'll help me create a better video for those of you watching. But that's all for now. Thank you all for your support. It's been a lot of fun creating this series and playing this game and discovering what's new in the Gambler's Chest. So truly, thank you for watching.